I need to teach my niece's dog how to bring me a bottle of water when I'm thirsty. All right, this is Norse Teaches Science. We're in another biology edition video. We're still talking about ecology. I'm Mr. Norse, and today I present to you animal behaviors. And in this video, your goal is I can explain behaviors of animals and what type of behavior it is. So, what is a behavior? It's anything an animal does in response to a stimulus. A stimulus is some external or internal condition. Behaviors are adaptations that help an animal survive better. They're all there so that they can exhibit natural selection, survive, reproduce, and pass on their traits. Now, there are three types of behaviors. You have innate behaviors, learned behaviors, and social behaviors. Innate behaviors. Innate behaviors are behaviors you are born with. You are not taught these, you're just born knowing how to do them. Some innate behaviors you can see are like a spider spinning a web. They're not taught how to do it, they just know how to do it. Birds building a nest. It's an instinctive thing for them to know how to build a nest. Dolphins leaping from the water. They just do that. Dolphins are mammals that breathe oxygen. They're not fish, so they actually have to come up for air anyways. Or caterpillars making cocoon. They're not shown how to make a cocoon. They just know at a certain time how to make a cocoon. Some other innate behaviors are suckling, taxis, migration, hibernation, and estivation. And we're going to talk about each one of these. So suckling is an instinct for babies that to get food. You can see that over here with these puppies. They know when they're near their mother, they're going to get food. When they get something near the mouth, they're going to start sucking on it. You can even see this with babies. If you get near a newborn baby and say you stick your finger near their mouth, they're going to instinctively latch on and start sucking on your finger, hoping to get food. Taxis is moving towards or away from a stimulus. We talked about chemotaxis and phototaxis. Taxis just means the movement, like moths are drawn towards light, so they go towards light. And migration is a seasonal movement of animals. They're not taught that, oh, it's November, time for me to fly south. They have an instinct that this time I need to fly south, and they're usually guided by internal mechanisms. Estivation is a period of long rest for animals during intense heat or drought. So what happens is, like, say you are a toad in the desert, it rained, so you're going to burrow in, and then you notice that things are going to dry out, so it's going to keep there till it gets wet again and then comes out and emerges. And hibernation is a deep sleep to conserve energy during periods of cold weather. So you're talking about bears. Bears are the best known to hibernate. They hibernate during the winter months and then come out when it gets warmer to feed and get food. And its purpose of while it's awake is to get enough fat to survive for their next hibernation. Learned behaviors. These are established through practice or experience. So you are taught these behaviors. Like me teaching my niece's dog to go get me a water bottle when I'm thirsty. Other examples are habituation, imprinting, things called classical conditioning and trial and error. Teaching a kid to tie their shoes, that's a learned behavior. We're not born with the ability to tie our shoes. We are taught how to do them. And everyone's taught a different method. I don't even remember what my parents did. I just think I watched them over and over and I learned how to do it. So habituation, this is when an animal is continuously given a stimulus and then they eventually do not respond to it. So you can see that here. This cat lives near a construction site and the machines are really loud. It's scared. But over time, it doesn't care about the machines anymore. It doesn't even notice that they're there. Imprinting. Imprinting was is when an animal forms an attachment with another animal shortly after birth and starts following them around and doing stuff like that animal. I've seen where big giant huskies imprinted on cats and they kind of act like a cat. In this picture here, you see these ducks have imprinted on a human and they follow him around. You have classical conditioning. This is learning to relate two unrelated things. The best idea of this is something called Pavlov's dog. What he did, he noticed every time he fed his dog, the dog would salivate. So he started, but when he rang a bell, he wouldn't. So every time he would present food in front of the dog, he would ring the bell. And so the dog started thinking, oh, when I hear the bell, I'm going to get fed. So it got to the point where Pavlo could ring the bell without food nearby, and the dog would salivate. And trial and error, this is just through practice and usually a ward system. Or you're like, oh yeah, I shouldn't do that. Every time I do that, this happens. So it's a normal learned experience. Social behaviors, these take place within members of the same species, usually with pheromones or courtship dances or territorial defenses. So pheromones, animals use pheromones all the time to signal things to other um, animals in their species. Deer's female deer let off a pheromone letting you know that they're ready to mate. That male deers can smell and they go towards it. Sometimes it's for communication. Termites and ants, they will leave pheromones when they find food so other termites or ants can follow it. A cool thing about termites is their pheromone is the same thing as a ballpoint pen. So if you draw a spiral with a ballpoint pen and then place a termite right at the beginning of it, it will follow the ballpoint pen around, whatever you drew, because it's the same pheromone. Courtship dances, you can see that in this picture right here. Courtship dances are usually performed in nature by the males so that they can attract a female so they can mate. And if the male is not good at the courtship dance, the female won't mate with them. And the last one is territorial defense. And this is usually animals defending breeding areas or feeding areas, a potential mate or a potential mate. You can see that in these mountain goats over here bashing their heads together. This is actually them fighting to be able to mate with a female. But that's some of the behaviors I've talked about. There's many different behaviors out there. So again, go educate yourself. Go look on Google for other different behaviors. But I hope you learned something today. And this is Mr. Norris, and I am out for this video.